We continue now at the top of Daf Yomi Gemara from Mesechet Shekalim. This is Shekalim Daf 5a. On the previous Talmud, the Gemara said that you can have a case where brothers who inherit the property of their father, they can be chayiv in both the kalbon and in Meiser Behema. And you can also have a case where the brothers inherit the property of their father, and they're pater both from the kalbon and from Meiser Behema. And the Gemara says, hey Chavida, how does this work? How do you have these two constructed cases, a case where they're chayiv in both, and a case where they're pater in both? And the Gemara explains, cholko hanechasim velo cholko habehema, very simple. Let's say they divide up the property, but they don't divide up the animals. So when it comes to the animals, they're still like regular yarshim. They're not like lekuchos, they're not like partners. When it comes to the property, though, they're like partners. So in that case, chayavin bazeh uvazeh. In that case, they're going to be chayav and kalbon because they're just like regular partners. It's their own property. But when it comes to the behema, since they didn't divide it up, it's still like their father's property, so to speak. So then they're chayav and meiser behema. Cholko ha-behema v'lo cholko es hanachasim. Now the reverse case, let's say they divide up the animals, so then when it comes to the animals, they're already like lekuchos / partners, so in that case they're going to be pater from meiser behema, but they haven't divided up the rest of the property, so when it comes to the shekalim, those are still in the property of the father, so to speak, hasn't been divided among the brothers, so then peturim mizeh mizeh. They're going to be pater in both situations. So basically, if you have a situation when it comes to the Meiser Behema, it just goes by what they did with the Behema. And when it goes to the Mesechet HaShekel, the Kalbon of the Mesechet HaShekel, it goes by what they did with the rest of the property. The Gemara continues, Amar Rabbi Menah says, Hada diat Amar, that which you said before they're chayiv in both Kalbon and Meiser Behema, in a situation where they divided up the property and they did not divide up the animals. That's all true if the animals are not the majority of the property. So if the behemoths are not the majority of the property, so again, they didn't divide up the behema, so therefore they're chayiv in Meiser Behema, and they did divide up the property, and therefore they're chayiv in Kalbon. Avalam hoisa ha-behema rov. But he says, if the behema is the majority of the property, and again, that's the part they did not divide up, so then, ikar nechasim, we say really that's as if they didn't divide up any of the property. And in that case, they're not going to be chayiv in kalbon, they'll actually be pater in kalbon, because it's as if it's still in the property of the father. Even though they divided the other property, that was a minority of the property, we don't care. We look at the majority. But the Gemara responds, Rabbi Avin Amar Rabbi Simi, Rabbi Avin says in the name of Rabbi Simi, boy asks as follows, just because when it comes to the animals, it's like it belongs to one person, meaning again, it was not divided up, the animals weren't divided up. Ad potrom and a kalbon, therefore suddenly you're saying they're pater from kalbon, you apply what they did by the behema to the other property. Who cares that it's the majority? Basically he's asking, what difference does that make with regard to Mesechet HaShekel? So Amarle said to him, "Lo, no, you're incorrect. Shanya, it's really different over here. Show no saying selo echad shalema, because the case over here is these brothers are giving one full sela. So really, it's totally as if they didn't divide up the property, because they're giving one sela for each of them, as if it's one inheritance, as if it's one person's property." So the Gemara says, but if that's the case, me'at, according to that, afilu cholko v'chazru v'neshtatvu chayavin v'meiser behema v'pturim min hakalbon. If that's the case, we should say even if they actually did a full division, forget about just the animals. Let's say they fully divided up and then they became partners again. We should say in that case also they're pater from kalbon, because you're saying if they give one sela, automatically that's like it's in the property of the father. It's like an undivided property, and they should be pater from kalbon. V'tanina, but we learned just the opposite. We said chayavin b'kalbon u'pturim mimeiser behema. On the contrary, we said that in a situation where they divide the property and then they become like lekuchos and then they become like partners, so we said in such a situation they're chayiv in kalbon, regardless of whether they're giving a sela echad shalema or not. And we said they're pater from Meiser Behema, so you can't answer the question by saying Sela Echad Shalema. That's not going to pater them from the Kalbon. And again, the question therefore will still stand. The fact that the Behema is the majority should not make a difference. It should not pater them from Kalbon. And the Gemara continues at the two dots, Rabbi Ba B'Shem Abba Bar Rav Huna. Rabbi Ba says in the name of Abba Bar Rav Huna, Hi Shnei Achim Sheyarshu Es Avian, Hi Shnei Gisin Sheyarshu Es Chamein. Says it doesn't make a difference if it's an inheritance, let's say two brothers that inherit their father, or let's say it's two brother-in-laws that inherit their father-in-law, let's say through their wives. The wives are the daughters, and now they're inheriting as brother-in-laws. It's going to be the same halacha. His point is, there's nothing special about two brothers. Anytime you have an inheritance that comes down, the halachas are going to be exactly the same, whether it's by kalbon, whether it's by meiser behema. The Gemara says, La'eichon hayu hakalbonos noflin. Now, these kalbons that they gave, this extra amount that they gave in the machatzes hashekel, what was this money used for? Rabbi Meir Omer, Rabbi Meir says, l'shkalim. It was used for the same thing the shkalim are used for, meaning for karbonos tzibur. Just like the machatzes hashekel was for karbonos tzibur, so to the kalbon. Rabbi Lazar Omer l'nedava. Rabbi Lazar says, no, we didn't use it for karbonos tzibur, we use it for karbonos of nedava. Rabbi Shimon Shazuri Omer, Rabbi Shimon Shazuri says, Riku azav, they pounded the gold into like flat gold metal sheets, and they used it as a cover for the Kodesh Kadashim to plate things in gold. That's what they use this kalbon for. Ben Azai says Shulchanin hayunot lenosam b'scharon. Actually, the money changers would take the kalbon for themselves. That was the price. That was the payment they took for changing the money. Finally, there are those that say that it was used to actually fix the roads by which people would bring the shkalim to Yerushalayim. They used the money to fix up those very roads. Hadran Alach, Perek Be'echad Ba'adar will return to you, Perek Be'echad Ba'adar. And if you're enjoying these videos, please be sure to share, like, and subscribe. Take a look at the description box below to see how you can support this channel. We'll continue now with the second perek of Mesechet Shekalim. And the Mishnah says, Mitzarfin Shekalim ledarchonos. You're allowed to take the Shekalim and change them into golden coins. That's darchonos. Mipnei masoi haderech, in order to make it a little lighter so it won't be such a burden on the road. They used to give their machas hashekel to shalichim, and these messengers used to bring it to the Beis HaMikdash. It would be too heavy if they took all these machas hashekel as silver coins. So instead you change them into golden coins, it's not as heavy. And the Mishnah continues, Kashem shayu shofaros b'mikdash, just like there were shofaros in the mikdash. The shofaros, again, they're like the tzedakah box where you put the machatz hashekel, and they were in the shape of a shofar. So kach hayu shofaros b'medina. So too there were shofaros throughout the country, and people would put their machatz hashekel in there, and then again, the shlichim would take it up to the Beis HaMikdash. Now let's say the people of the city, they send their shkalim with messengers, and they get stolen or they're lost. So then it depends. If already from the Trumas Halishka, they've already taken some money, and they've already brought Korbanos Tzibur with some of the money that's been brought to the Beis HaMikdash, so then already the loss is considered the Beis HaMikdash. It's considered all shkalim that are in the hands of messengers it's a loss to the Gizbor, it's a loss to the Beis HaMikdash. So therefore, Nishbain la Gizbarin, therefore the messengers who have lost the Machas HaShekel, or got stolen from them, they have to take an oath to the Gizbor, and they have to say, we weren't negligent, it got stolen, we lost it, but we weren't negligent, therefore we don't owe you. And then the loss is going to be the Beis HaMikdash's loss. The Imlav, now if the money wasn't yet taken, the Trumas Halishka was not yet performed, so then already we say that it's in the hands of those who sent it. They haven't officially been delivered, so to speak, to the Beis HaMikdash. So then, Nishboin Livnei Ha'ir, then the messengers swear to the people of the city, and they say, again, it wasn't our fault, and the people of the city have not discharged their obligation. So therefore, Uvnei Ha'ir, Shoklin Tachtein, now the people of the city have to give new shekels because they really haven't yet delivered. In other words, it's only considered delivered when they take the money from the Trumas Halishka and when they begin bringing karbanos. Then that's considered to go on all money that's en route to the Beis HaMikdash. But before that time period, the people of the city are going to need to give a new machatzes hashekel. Now, nimtzu o shechzirim haganovim, let's say they find the lost machas hashekel, or the people who stole them return them. So elu ve'elu shkalim, both shkalim are going to be considered machas hashekel. They both belong to the Beis HaMikdash. Even though the person already sent a machas hashekel, got lost, and he sent another one, both of them are going to count. Ve'in olin lahen l'shana haba. You can't even count the second one for the next year. You're going to have to give machas hashekel the next year. Basically, the people of the city have lost now an additional machas hashekel, because once it's given as machas hashekel, you can't take it back. So the Gemara says, V'yasu o son margolius. Why does our Mishnah say that you take the machas hashekel and you change it into darchonos, which are golden coins? You should do it into margolius. Those are pearls. They're very expensive, and it's going to weigh a lot less. So the Gemara answers, Shematazil ha-margolius. V'nimtza hekdesh mafsid. No, they already were afraid the margolius might go down in value, and if their market value goes down, it's going to come out that hekdesh is going to lose out. Kahida tanin and tamon. It's like we learned in the Mishnah over there. V'kula niftin bekesef v'shavah kesef. Anytime you do redemption, talking about bechor, talking about the shloshim shekel that you pay for an eved, anytime you do it, you can use money, or you can use objects that are worth money. You don't need to use money. Chutz mishkalim. There's one exception when it comes to machatzes hashekel. You can't use that. Vein podin bekalim. You can't use kalim. You're not allowed to use something that's not money when it comes to machatzes hashekel. When it comes to other things you're redeeming, it doesn't have to dafka be money. When it comes to the machatzes hashekel, it has to be money. V'yamar Rav Shmuel bar Rav Yitzchak, and Rav Shmuel bar Rav Yitzchak says, Shema yazilu ha-kalim. The reason why you're not allowed to use kalim is because we're afraid the kalim are going to go down in value. V'nimtza hekdesh mafsid, and it's going to come out that hekdesh is going to lose. So afhacha, so too over here, nami also shamatazal ha-margolius. We're afraid the margolius are going to go down in value. V'nimtza ha-hekdesh mafsid. It's going to come out that hekdesh loses out. The Gemara now says, masnisa betiklin chadatin. Our Mishnah is talking about the new shekels, meaning when it comes to the shekels that you are giving for this coming year. So then they used to have a shofar not only in the Beis Hamikdash, they'd have a shofar, they'd have shofaros throughout the country where you could deposit the machatzes hashekel. Avo betiklin atikin lo bida. But when it comes to the shekel, let's say you owe a shekel from last year, that you don't put into such shofaros. V'tani kain, it was even taught like this. Atikin b'mikdash, the shofaras that are for atikin, it would say on the shofar that this is for tiklin atikin, this is for the old shekel, that was placed in the Beis HaMikdash. Ve'en atikin b'medina, but you didn't have atikin, you didn't have shofaras, which were for tiklin atikin, which were for old shkalim throughout the country. Those were only for the new shekel. And the Gemara says, further, masnisin b'shomer chinam. Our Mishnah is talking about a shomer chinam, because what does our Mishnah say? Our Mishnah says that the shluchim are not responsible if it's lost or stolen. So that's true by a shomer chinam. A shomer chinam is only responsible for negligence, not responsible for lost or stolen, because a shomer chinam is a shomer that's not getting paid. Aval b'shomer sacher lo bida. But when it comes to a shomer sacher, meaning a shomer that's getting paid to deliver these machatzes hashekel, this wouldn't be true. They would be responsible if it was stolen. They would be responsible if it was lost, just like any shomer sacher. So Amar Rabbi Abba says not necessarily. V'afilu teimar b'shomer sacher. You can even say our Mishnah is talking about a shomer sacher. Why are they not responsible for those machatzes hashekel that are stolen? Because nignavu b'listim mizuyin. The case of stolen is when it's armed robbers. The halacha is a shomer sacher is not responsible for armed robbery. That's already considered like an onus. It's considered an accident, nothing you can do about it. Similarly, avdu, you can have the case in our Mishnah where it says it was lost. Kimishatavas vinasa bayam. The case might be where the person's ship drowned at sea. It sank. So in such a situation, if the ship sank, that's not considered a normal situation of lost, and a shomer sacher is not responsible for that. Amar Rabbi Yusti bar Rabbi Simon. So Rabbi Yusti bar Rabbi Simon says, Asya commando Amar tormin al hagavoy ve'ala asid ligvos. He says, our Mishnah follows the opinion that says that when they used to take money, withdraw money in the Trumas Halishka, they'd have in mind that which was already given in, and that which was on its way, that which is in the hands of messengers who are in the middle of delivering the Machatzes HaShekel, they'd have in mind there as well. So it's already as if all Machatzes HaShekel that are en route to the Beis HaMikdash are already in the possession of the Beis HaMikdash. Beram, however, according to one says it's not true. According to the one that says we don't take from the Trumas Halishka on money that's on its way that hasn't yet arrived, lo b'da, then this wouldn't be true, because then the money that did not yet arrive to the Beis HaMikdash, according to this opinion, would not be in the possession of the Beis HaMikdash. It would not be in the possession of the Gizbor, and so the loss would not be the Beis HaMikdash. The loss would be to the people of the city who are sending it. The Gemara continues quoting the Mishnah, B'nei Oyer sheshalchu es sheklayim v'chulu. Again, the people of the city, they send their shekel with messengers. So then it said that the shluchim, the messengers, need to take an oath if it gets lost or stolen. Now, the halacha generally is Ein nishboyin ala hekdesha. So you don't have to take an oath when it comes to things that belong to hekdesh. So why over here are we taking an oath? So the Gemara says, Amar Rabbi Elazar says to Rabbi Shimon here. Our Mishnah follows the position of Rabbi Shimon. To Rabbi Shimon Omer, Kachim shuchai b'achar yusam kinechasafein. Rabbi Shimon holds if you have kachim that you're chayiv, you're responsible to pay back if it gets lost or stolen. That's like your own property. That's like the individual's own property. So in this case, let's take the situation where it belongs to the Bnei Ho'ir. Then the Machatzes HaShekel gets lost. The Bnei Ho'ir still owe Machatzes HaShekel. That's chayiv b'achar yusan. So it would make sense that the shluchim have to take an oath to the Bnei Ho'ir. Since they're chayiv b'achar yusan, it's like their property. It's not like hektish, and therefore they do have to take an oath. Gemara says, Amar Rabbi Yochanan. Rabbi Yochanan says, no, not necessarily. Divrei HaKali, our Mishnah might be according to everyone. Mishum Shvuas Takana. This is a Shvua Midrabanan, meaning you're right. On a Doraisa level, there's no need to take a Shvua. But the Rabbanan said, since we want to be careful in terms of protecting Hektish, so therefore the Rabbanan instituted a Shvua in this situation. So the Gemara says, Al Das the Rabbi Yochanan Nicha. According to the opinion of Rabbi Yochanan, it actually works out fine. Nishboim like Gizbarim. That's why you could also have a case, as we had in the Mishnah, where you're not only swearing to the Bnei Ha'ir, you could have a situation where you swear to the Gizbar. Again, the Mishnah had said that if they already withdrew money from the Trumas Halishka and they had in mind on all the money that was en route to the Beis HaMikdash, so then the loss belongs to Hektish, and the messengers have to swear to Hektish. So that makes sense. Why are you swearing to the Gizbar? It's a Shvuas HaTakana. It's just a Shvuah Midrabanan. We want to protect. We don't want to be mezalzel in Hektish. V'imlav nishboim livnei ha'ir. And if not, if you didn't withdraw yet from the Trumas Halishka, then you swear to the people of the city. Ubnei ha'ir shoklam acherim. And then the people of the city will give a different shekel. That all makes sense according to Rabbi Yochanan, why you would take a Shvuah in either direction, because it's a Shvuas HaTakana. And we'll continue with this discussion in the next video on Daf Hey Amud Beis.